Hi guys. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Good Living Podcast. Monologue by Coke Boy. Still me here. Please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment on what you think, and let's get straight to the video. Now, it's been a great week, and happy Easter. By the way, I'm recording this on Easter Sunday. It is 9:45 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, and so happy Easter Monday, happy Easter Sunday, whenever you're watching. You know what? And up until this Sunday, it's been a great week. I play football, by the way, and I'm not really a footballer or anything. So I don't even play ball when I was small. Just that I've developed this love for football, and I started playing like last year. I started playing weekly last year, and I was looking for a place to really play football with purpose. Because I used to just go and do training now. Just go every Saturday, choose ball, play, and come back home. But I said I wanted to play ball like with purpose, do something, win something, just like compete. I just wanted to compete. So I was looking for a team, all these small grassroots teams that I could just join, train with them, go to matches with them, and just join the team. So I wasn't seeing where I play football. I've not asked them. I forgot to ask when I went yesterday. But during the week, because I want to play ball at least more than once a week. So I asked my friend how far. He stays in North Bank. We play ball, we all know they play. If you come play, he said yes. So I went there to play, and then at the end of the before we started playing, their coach came and gave an announcement that we have matches to play. There's a tournament coming up. People have not registered. They're supposed to pay $250 for a form, so they can register them as players of that team, so they can join the competition. So he was complaining that a lot of them have not registered. I was like, this could be a good opportunity for me to register. You know how the universe brings things your way when you're looking for them. So I said, let's play the ball first. The pitch was nice. It was big post and all of that. But then the turnout was bad. People didn't come to play. They said they had a match the next day and they matched the previous day, so people didn't come to play today. That was my first red flag. Second red flag was that they didn't use the posts to play. No goalkeepers, so we had to play. The post was now cones. Not even monkey post too. Cones. These cones that they used to do training in football. That's what we used to make posts. So everybody's playing, and then whoever goes and touches the ball on the opponent's cone scores one goal. Or if you can do 10 touches, you can complete 10 passes in your team, then you have a goal. That's how we're playing. I found it boring, but that's that because me, I like to run, create chances, score a proper goal. But I know it's not about what I want. But another red flag was the complaint. In football, I think where I play football every Saturday is really mature. They complain, but they advise you as well, and they encourage you. Here, everybody just complain. You make a mistake, bad touch. I personally, I didn't. You can ask my friend Jerry. I didn't make too many mistakes. I don't think I remember making more than one mistake. I'm saying one because I don't think it was perfect, but I don't remember making any mistake. But the way they were complaining about other people, the way they were shouting amongst themselves, almost fighting, quarreling for every little thing, they'll give somebody a pass because the pass is not the right weight. The guy would even struggle to get the ball. He would just complain from the get-go and lose the ball altogether. And I think it's just childish. The entire team was childish, and I just didn't see myself playing in that kind of environment for a whole season, for any tournament whatsoever. It was just going to be boring. Not that anybody needs me. Those were the reasons I decided against it. Their coach too is a very funny character. He's an able man, but was doing very unkept. All this team talk, you just repeat one issue 100 million times. And I stay in town. This football is in North Bank. Now don't they come? You're talking about one particular team for 20 minutes. I had to leave there before the end of the team talk, so I didn't even greet anybody else. And I left. So I think I'll just ask my regular coach in my way I used to play ball, how far do you guys go for tournaments? Can I register? How can I join? Let me just do that. Yeah, but that's basically the highest thing that happened in my week, except for other emotional stuff that I'm not willing to go into. So I'm going to cut that part out. The thing is, the main issue today, why this podcast is because there's this thing that has been going around. There's this thing people think that I think is the wrong thinking, and somebody has to tell you people that is the wrong thinking. It's about breaking homes. The home breaker is never the woman, and I'm talking about the side chick. Stop. You can call them side chicks, but don't call them home breakers. They're not home breakers. These women are not the ones who are the primary reason why a marriage fails. And let me explain. There's a story I'm going to tell you, and I got this story from TikTok. There's this guy, he's an OAP in Lagos. I can't remember his name. Is it Black Boy or Dark Boy or something like that? But essentially, he said his father was a rich man when they were growing up in the 90s. His father was a big man, like was a mechanic, but he had a big mechanic workshop. He used to get contracts to fix vehicles for Julius Berger and all these people. He was a big shot, and they were well-to-do kids. His mom was there. He had siblings. He has like a little sister, an elder brother, and like two sisters, I think. And one day, his father just took them, his mom and his siblings. I was like, let them go somewhere. They're going somewhere. Let them stand up. Let them pack their things and come. He didn't it wasn't aggressive. Just like a thing of urgency. Yeah, just pack your stuff, enter the car, let's go. So he put them in the car, they were living in Abuja at the time. Took them to Gwagwalada and rented a one-room apartment for them and put them in there and said he's coming back to explain. And so he put them there, and then he went back. So they waited for him for a bit. He didn't come back that same day. He didn't come back the next day. And then the mom was like, okay, let's go and check. Let her go and find out what is going on with this man. So she went back and couldn't find him. They couldn't find him. They couldn't reach him. So that's why they couldn't reach their dad. And she came back. A few days, nothing. Didn't hear from him. Weeks, didn't hear from him. Months, didn't hear from him. So she said, she's going to accept her fate now. Start doing menial jobs, looking for what to do. From a big man's wife who that had all this money, she had to now start selling akara and doing different things to raise money to start getting for her family. So while she was doing that, they were still hoping that this man would come back somehow, but he never came back. Months turned into years, and they had to move out from that place. Their rent expired. They couldn't renew. They had to be staying outside, where sun or rain or everything would beat all of them. And then the children now, these boys started trying to look for money in the streets to make sure that their siblings can go to school, their sisters can go to school, while their mother was still struggling. And they didn't know what was happening. It was confusing, but they had forgotten their father easily because this guy telling the story was a child then. So he had easily forgotten his father. He was now a trenches kid. They were now trenches people all of a sudden. And then years passed, and then this guy was like a teenager now. Somebody saw him and was like, I recognize you. And I was like, me, I don't know you. And you see that street, this thing has already entered them. He was like, no, he doesn't know this guy. The man was like, no, he knows his father. Like, where is his mother? He now like convinced him by telling him his name and telling him things. So he convinced him, and the guy now took this strange man to their mom. Their mom now recognized the man. Long time. What's going on? Say, I've not heard from you too. That's why are they here and everything. So the woman explained the thing to the man. His mom explained the thing to that man, and then the man was like, don't worry, I will take you back to see this man, to her husband, which is this guy's father. And so they took their stuff and they went. So that this man has gone to a new area, had a big house, business was still going well, had a new wife, and had a child or two. And he said he can't still remember exactly how that conversation went because he didn't discuss with his father, but he just remembered hating him. He didn't want anything to do with their man because the man didn't want him. It's not as if the man came back and looked for them or anything, So, however, it happened that day. They went back home. They went back to Gwagwalada. They went back to the trenches. They didn't stay with their dad. I don't know if it was the man that refused or the woman was just too stubborn she didn't want to stay. However, they went back and he grew up, in that environment as a trenches kid. And one thing led to another now. His dad right now is poor, right? His dad is begging them for money. His dad is back with his mom. His father and his mother now are together, old people together now, doing things together and all of that. And, that's essentially that story. And this is a story of almost everybody who has had extramarital affairs and broken up his family as a result. So when I say don't blame the woman, the first action is not always the woman. In fact, let me tell you something. Most men are the ones who go and toast. The same way in your everyday life, you see that a guy sees a fine girl and he's the one that goes to go and start talking to her. That's the way it is, whether he's married or not. The man could be married and he sees somebody that he likes, a woman that he wants to sleep with or whatever. He'll go and approach her. And some people like married men, and married men know that there are women who like married men because they feel like it comes with a certain level of stability, freedom, and financial, how they call it, perks. And they know these things and they use that as a weapon to go and look for women who would say yes to them, that is married men. And you cannot blame those women, because the first action to break the home, because there's nothing that sets the ball in motion to break a home than the person who begins to look outside and starts, involving himself with people outside. And men, I understand, if you're a rich man, you have money and you have this sex drive, you would want to, especially if your wife is not giving you what you want, you might want to sleep with somebody outside your home. And it's not to permit it or anything, but I'm saying there's a certain way you can limit certain things, because men can have sex without emotions being involved. You can have sex with somebody, not know her name, not collect her number, not know anything about her, not care about her if you see her in the road getting beaten tomorrow. So if you can just keep it at that, probably we'll not be having the broken home issues. But here's the problem: you do that, and then you make them your friend. You make your side chick your second wife, essentially, that is not living in your house. And it gets to the point where if you are dating an older side chick, so if you're a man in your 50s, thereabouts, and your side chick is in her 30s or late 20s, she begins to think about her future. She knows that women do not have that much time. And it's only natural for her to begin to ask questions like, okay, yeah, the one I'm seeing, especially if she doesn't have a boyfriend. And most married men are dating women, and they do not want those women to see anybody else. And if you are that kind of woman, I will tell you, you have to see other people. See a single man that could potentially marry you. But some of them are loyal, and women can be very loyal. So they can be loyal to these married men with the hope that they will enter the house one day too, as the second wife or as the main wife. And you can't blame them. The man started it. He started it. So when they begin to say, okay, so what's going on? Where are we going to? I'm not seeing anybody else aside you. Then the man will be like, don't worry. I'll divorce my wife and I'll marry you. This conversation happens millions of times. It has happened so many times. And who said I will divorce my wife and marry you? The man. And she holds on to that promise and is asking, when are you leaving your wife? When are you leaving your wife? And then society now starts the story from when are you leaving your wife? That is where society starts to tell the story and begin to call the woman the homebreaker. And you are putting blame on people that you shouldn't be putting blame on. Let me explain this thing. Just imagine you're a girl in school, in uni, you're maybe between 19 to 23 or 24 years old. And the parent, all of us know in university, the money your parents give you is not enough. Except your parents are like rich people, which is less than 1% of our population, so it doesn't really matter. The money that your parents give you in uni is not enough. You have to buy handouts, you have to buy food, you have to go to places and enjoy your life. You're a young person, you have to socialize. And your parents will not give you money to socialize, and they will not give you enough even for school. So you need money somehow. And men, boys, we are motivated to work. You see boys, okay, after lectures, they'll go and hustle. They'll do something or the other because they're more motivated to work. Women are not as motivated to work because they know they are beautiful and they know that their beauty can bring them money. And we can say that, okay, you can avoid these things, but imagine somebody, a student now, a girl, fine, beautiful. In fact, even if you're ugly, safe. And then there's a married man that is on your case. There's a man who is mature, he's working, he's stable, he's well-to-do, he's giving you money, he has not even slept with you yet, and he's asking you out. And you are seeing all these things, all this money, all these gifts, and he's telling you, there's more where this came from if you just say yes to me. And then you begin to think, what are the pros and the cons? If you are the girl and you're thinking, okay, what's the disadvantage of doing this thing with this man? The disadvantage is that you will have to carry some guilt in your conscience because you know this is somebody's husband. And that is all. That is all the disadvantage that you carry. But what are the advantages? I have a man now. 2, he's going to give me money. I'm going to be getting this one stream of income I'm going to have right now. 3, this stream of income as in form of a boyfriend or a man comes without the stress that a younger person comes with. A younger person, like if you're dating a fellow student or a classmate or somebody in school, there comes with more stress as per you have to come and see me in my house now, maybe every day, or they can come and check on you. They will call you morning, afternoon, and night. You will love, and there's less money in that relationship. Meanwhile, there's a relationship where you can afford yourself some freedom because you're in school and he's out there working, he has a family to deal with, he's busy enough, so he's not going to be choking you, but he's going to be giving you money. And then, there's a certain level of maturity. You don't have to deal with a lot of bullshit because it's not exactly a romantic relationship where you both are exclusive. So, if you look at that, that is advantages that in far greater proportions outweigh the disadvantages. And you can easily say yes to that kind of offer. So, will you blame a woman, a young girl, a man who is older than her with over 10 years comes with that offer? You want her to say no, and you blame her when she doesn't say no. What about the man that left his wife and his family to come and start chasing small girls in the uni or on the street? That is where the problem started for any home that is broken. And I know that there are exceptions. There's women who look outside, and as a result, the home is broken. And there's things like that. There's a situation where people use jazz on somebody's husband. But these are the exceptions. These are the minor cases. The major cases and the majority of cases Is this one where the man goes out, sees a fine small girl that he likes, and starts following her up? And we cannot constitute blame and shift it based on the exceptions. We have to put the blame based on what is the majority case. Majority case is where the man goes out of his family to look for somebody else. And if that leads to a point where the home is broken, then it's him that set that ball in motion. So that is why you cannot blame them. But there's a way to avoid it, and it's in value systems. Everybody should have core values, and you cannot get it early. It doesn't have to be from early in life. Even later in life, you can have set your core values. So only like 3 years ago that I decided, what are my core values? What are the lines I will not cross? And the rules that I live by, I have it framed. It's hanging somewhere in my house. People can come in. If you're interested, you see it and read it. And if you read that list of 41 things, commandments or rules that I live by, and you look at my life and you know me personally, you would notice that I'm living true to this. If there's anything that I'm not really doing there, you can call me out on it. So people who know me personally, if you come to my house, you can read that stuff and tell me if I'm failing in any aspect of those things. So the thing is, if you have core values, and this is not to say I'm perfect, obviously. I'm saying if you have core values and you set your core values in such a way that they will not allow you to do certain things, then there are some problems you would avoid, like this one. So if a woman says, because there are girls who have said this, they will do anything, they will sleep with people's boyfriend, but if somebody's husband, they will never sleep with somebody's husband. They've drawn a line and said, as long as this man is married to somebody, I will not have anything to do with him. So that is where so people can draw lines like that. Yes, a man, you can say, you know what, even if I sleep with somebody outside of my marriage, I'm not going to make friends with her, I'll be talking to her daily or anything like that, so that there is a certain level it will not get to the point where it's going to start affecting my marriage, because men are capable of having sex without emotions. So, or you can just abstain. But I'm trying to make it easy, so that small, at least from that, you can now say, I don't really need this extramarital relationship. Let not be as if it's difficult to do. So if you're that kind of person that you can avoid such relationships, then you just do that, because reward comes from doing things that are difficult. So the thing is, women as well, the only place I can give women blame is this value thing. If you have your values set up in such a way that maybe good home training or whatever, then you can exempt yourself from situations like this. If everybody could just be a little bit more morally upright, then these issues will not exist. Now, secondly, how you pick your men. Women, this is where you can now take some blame. I'm talking to the wives, because before you marry a man, you know what his tendencies are. You should know what his tendencies are. So you should be more careful in picking men. And I know husbands are scarce. If somebody says they want to marry you, it's a big deal. That's why during engagements, it's the women, the friends that are like reposting. The women's friends that are reposting the engagement. Congratulations, are just one shouting and excited. The men are not really in fact, let me be honest here. If your friend is marrying as a man, when a man's friend is marrying, a lot of the male friends are happy for their friend that is getting married, but they kind of feel bad for him a little bit, just a little bit. But the women are overjoyed. So I understand that husbands are hard to find, but if you know that there is a potential problem, that you might not be able to take in the future, then you should better just leave it early and exempt yourself from that situation. So you should know the men and pick better men, so that you will not be caught up in a situation where you have a broken home in the future because your man cannot control his emotions, not even his penis, his emotions, to the point where he cannot say, okay, this is my wife and I have to respect her. And also, men, you have to do better. I don't understand why people do not believe in self-improvement as much as other people do. If you are a man, you should always think of how you can be the best possible man on earth, really. And so, if the best possible man on earth do not have a wife and then go out and start looking to marry somebody else and chase his wife away, even when he has children, I have a duty and dedication to provide and protect your family and be there for them. And even if you're not happy, it's not your duty to be happy, it's your duty to be dedicated to this family. And that's what you should do. That should be your priority. So at the end of the day, these things should be seen differently. More responsibility should be put on the man. And if men suffer consequences enough, or suffer the blame or suffer the backlash from society enough for looking outside and for having side chick and for broken homes, then we can have a reduce or a decline in these issues. And I'm sure men are small. How do I say it? Men are smaller than women in number. So one good man feels like he has to, satisfy 5 women. Stop that thinking. Really, it's wrong. so that only the best of women can get the best of men, and then two of you can stay together and really be happy and fulfill each other. Thank you very much for listening and watching the Good Living Podcast. I hope that you leave a comment, you like, you subscribe, and God bless you. Ciao. Happy Easter. Have a good week.